Hello, this is Pixie doing a video. How the devil are you? That works okay. I have to see how it goes. So I've got just playing around with a new camera thing I've got. So it gives me a different perspective. So what should we talk about? OMADs? I just need to get a bit more focused. The discipline tends to be high at first, and then there's times where it drops. You know what OMAD is, mainly 1 meal a day. You can kind of stretch the window. Now, it's debatable what 1 meal a day is. Is it just a plate full of food? Is it what you would eat as a plate full of food? Maybe a plate full of food, pudding, I don't know, starter, main meal, pudding, and it might be spread out over an hour, maybe spread out over 2 hours. Not because you're a greedy sod, it's just that you can't eat that fast. And it could be that you're not planning to eat anything else today. Whoa, it's like an earthquake. It's just it's a bit of freestand in the camera, so it's pretty awesome. So it's not an earthquake in the thing. It's probably trying to stabilise the vibrations of the car. So that's kind of what is it to you. That's the first thing. I think it's kind of, because it's a movement, you have to define what it means to you, and you need to define how you could go about fasting. That's really what it is. What type of fasting works well for you? What's your aims? What's your goals? And these sorts of things. So if you're looking to lose weight, there's a few different types that will work. If you're very overweight, you don't have to try too hard to get some results on there. Basically, that's the main thing. There's, like I say, different types of fasting, and maybe you go warrior. You do different variations of intermittent fasting. It could be if you're quite thin and lean anyway, but you tend to go on a bit of a binge. You go out drinking, your social life. It could even be your lifestyle clashes with somebody else's lifestyle. So, like your girlfriend's a lot thinner than you are, or your boyfriend, and they have a tendency to sort of like to eat out and go to restaurants, and they tend to eat a lot. And as a result, there's a different style of eating. Or maybe they'll eat a little and often diet, and it doesn't work at all for you. Or you want to eat more but less. That might be your sort of diet plan, really. So it's all what works for you. Other things I've learned as well is that you want to be hungry each day. You want to get hungry before you eat. And if you're not hungry, you get the sense like you could eat, but if you don't feel hungry, what's going on there? Have you pushed your fast too hard? I think that's naturally a hunger's a reaction, but you don't want to be controlled by it. So, as soon as you go near a certain type of shop, you have to buy some food there, or you're craving going to McDonald's or something. These sorts of things are not very good influences. Yeah. So it's a bit of self-control, discipline, and what I will be singing. I think the important is eat when thy is hungry. That's really what you want to sort of be aiming for. So something else I wanted to mention as well. I think there's different types of hunger. So it may go from all the way up to the scale of ravenous. A ravenous hunger is just basically you can't stop yourself. It sounds like you're addicted or something. But yeah, it's just because you've gone too long and you've shocked your body, and yeah, it's the same way if you're really, really thirsty and you come across some fluids or some water or something, you most likely want to have that drink because your body really needs it. Which is fine. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, you want to be in control of your body. You want to be managing it, but you're not trying to nullify your instincts or reactions to things. I mean, when you get a reaction of being hungry, your body's producing a hormone ready to eat. So when you're what you need to do is just take your time to say, right, I will be eating, and you set yourself your goal time. You might have to push yourself a little bit through that. Possibly I mean, on your route to having a meal, you may snack a little bit. But I tend to do that anyway. If I'm cooking, I might sample what I'm about to cook up. But it fits in that window, and it just kind of gets your body a little bit primed. I mean, there's some people that they see food as not the enemy, but it's just survival, and as a result they think, well, if I just eat it really quickly, then I can stop eating and get it out of the way. So there's some issues there, maybe guilt around food and other things. And some people got these really, really tight windows, which might be great, I don't know. I mean, maybe tomorrow I might try to have a prolonged fast and just drink water, but I may fail with that. The body might say, hey, why aren't you eating? Now, I could just ignore that and say, well, yeah, well, sure, I've got some belly fat. But ideally, if it's doing what it should be doing, I'm going to have a car on my arse in a sec. We're sitting in the back window. Not too bad actually, they're slowed down. Yeah, I mean, if you're doing it right, then you probably think, I could eat, I don't want to, and it switches off. Some of it has some psychological influences behind it as well. Psychosomatic sort of nervous impulses and responses. So if you imagine eating, then your body sets you up to eat. In the same way, the other reverse of it, you know, if your body wants to, say, go to the toilet, you might, and you're dreaming, your body inserts this thing of you going to the toilet in the dream, and it seems to bring you out of it. Well, I've noticed that anyway. So but it works. It's a two-way gate. So if you're projecting your mind on something, like if I was thinking about eating, and that was a nice distraction, thinking about eating actually creates the situation where you think you are eating, which then sets off the gastric reactions and so on. So the discipline is, I mean, basically, even though you've got a window for an hour, 2 hours, maybe the hour before you start cooking and doing the food, you start to think to yourself, what would I fancy for lunch? What would I really want? And so your body's aware of what you're planning to sort of a bit of feasting on, or whatever you're going to be doing. So, but then that's, like I say, different hunger. If you eat beyond the point where you don't want to eat anymore. But then sometimes I find that you can eat something small and then you suddenly lost interest in eating. It's as if it's just taken the edge off the hunger, but you've still kept the fast. And then you sort of journey on beyond that, and then you start eating, and you think, well, I can eat a bit more, eat a bit more. It's just what you call like trigger food. So, you know, if you had a chocolate, or I keep hearing about bulletproof coffee, which is just a fancy name. When you get drinks with crazy fancy names, like extreme zero calorie and all these sorts of things, if it had lots of things stringed together in an ultra energy drink or something, it's like, well, what does that make sense? Why would you call something an energy drink, right, if it has allegedly low calories? So that's quite a strange thing. I come across things that say they're energy drinks, but they're not energy drinks, so they're vitamin tonics or something. You know, it's like, what are you? What's the aim of this drink? It's because the word doesn't really have any meaning. It's just, you know, it doesn't mean you're going to get energy. It just means just sugar actually. What they should call it is a calorie bombshell. You just stick in a massive amount of calories in an influx and hope your body will turn it into something useful. But there's a lot of that. It's easy to trip into that, and these triggers are things like chocolate and high caffeine, high sugars, maybe high salts as well. High salts, you might think, oh, I'm thirsty, what am I going to have? Oh, I'd like to drink a fizzy drink, or I'd like to have something else. You might say to them, I'm going to have a lot of water, and just keep guzzling water, because salt can have a salty, like chips and things, can have this sort of ongoing effect that you might feel thirsty for a while, because it's basically created a chemical imbalance, and your body's having a reaction to it, so yeah. So I need to push a little bit harder. I mean, I'm doing okay. I look healthy. People say your hair looks nice. Right. At the moment, I'm a bit sort of hot and sticky weather, and I wasn't going to be working this evening, but I jumped in. I said, if someone said, could you help out? I said, yeah, sure. And so I have, and it's all good. But then maybe tonight I'll just have the idea of maybe go to bed early and keep going to bed late. I mean, if you have a sleep deficit, I mean, sure, you could do, what happens when people try to do, it's like I don't know, I'm trying to think of the word, because it's narcolepsy when you fall asleep, nocturnal is when you're up late, and up at night, but some type of genesis between the two of when you try to keep yourself awake at night. But then what happens is people develop these big eye bags, big tight bags under their eyes. I don't know if they're meant to aid their eyes in some way, or they're actually meant to look like suffering that they inflicted upon themselves. A run-down look. So, here we go. Eagle has landed. Wicked. So yeah, I mean, it's different. Like I say, it's different forms of like genesis or change that you can incorporate, but you may get negative traits from it. Like if you stay up late all the time, you get blood vessels up in your eyes, you get bags under your eyes, your sleep pattern's shot. You probably got a certain amount of cortisol that you're creating to stay up late. But then it must be a kind of, I think it's coming down from it. So you like the stress of staying up late, but then you enjoy relaxing under that stress. So it's a love-hate relationship. Because why do people stay up late when they're tired and force themselves to go on beyond? Because a part of them doesn't want to go to sleep. They've got their active mind, and it probably some sort of chemical imbalance. Maybe they got the sugars are up too high, energy levels may be too high. But I find that if you are tired, then you may be seeking other ways to keep yourself going, like caffeine, these energy drinks. You might get caught up with the wording, which is just for advertising. You have to read what you're actually having, and then think about it. But to be honest, the numbers don't really mean too much. It's how you feel as well, and a bit of common sense, and then just dealing with your own addiction. It's very easy to fall into addiction. You've only got to eat something so many times, and you start liking it, and you start thinking about it. Think, oh, I wouldn't mind that. It's a bit like I used to do big fry up every now and then, but I don't so much now. I do a little bit, just cook up some eggs and stuff. Like food today, I just had a baguette, can of beans, 2 eggs. It's this type of ham. It's like a reformed ham, I guess. A bit like luncheon meat and things like that. It's a bit different. It's tinned ham, and then some salami, and I just sort of cooked that up and put it in the roll and gobbled that up. And did I eat anything else? No, I just think I had cups of tea today, massive cups of tea. I had milk in them. Probably better off dropping the milk for a bit, but it's a bit harder. Sometimes you like when you drink a good cup of tea and you're on your fast, and it's the first kind of cup of tea of the morning. With that milk, it does give there's a pleasure about it, and that's due to the fats in it. But if I knocked out the fats, then it would just create a situation where you start getting hungry, but then it kicks off that hunger as well because it's got fats in it. Your body says, right, well, when's the next lot coming in? But then it's all about the mind. So you've got to train the mind to say, well, we're going to be eating midday, just focus on that point. And then if you do check your clock, you say, right, well, I'll eat in an hour. So your brain will start saying, okay, it's going to be eaten not now, but later. But if you're thinking about, oh, this is what I want to eat at lunchtime and it's breakfast or it's mid-morning, then you're actually starting to force yourself to try to break the fast, because your body generates a certain amount of stress being hungry. Your body starts reacting, your guts start reacting to it, because what you believe and visualize is what you create in your mind. You react to it as if it's real stress. This is the problem with people caught up with drama, is that they react to it. So even if it's real, if it's a fantasy, they overreact to things. So some people watch a lot of soaps. They get over involved with that. They think like it's great to argue, and they get on a high on it. When actually, when someone's in your face having a go at you, it's not enjoyable. And then most likely, two guys are likely clock each other if they act like that. But in soap land, they can do random things like punch somebody once and walk away from them and things like that. But yeah, that's a video for another time, possibly. I'm already feeling a bit tired. Like, anyways, this is Pixie sign off. Have a great one wherever you are, and play safe, keep safe, and keep fasting. So yeah, bye.